Alright, so I haven't seen very many videos polishing the trigger on the Smith & Wesson. Both guns are safe, blah blah blah, no clips, no this, no that, all checked. So I was looking at the Glock thinking, I see no reason why, since they're such similar guns, the major difference between the two is the trigger and the trigger mechanism. You can change the trigger over to be a Glock style trigger with an Apex trigger kit and spring kit, but why is this such a crunchy, gritty feel? So if you break both guns down, Glock breaks down a lot better. It's easier to get hold of its tabs. Slides are basically the same. Very, very similar. The internals of the gun are very, very same, except the entire trigger group and the way the trigger works. So on a Glock, you change out the bar, you polish the slide, you polish this, you polish the safety pin, you polish the hammer pin. Why can't you do that on the Smith & Wesson? Well, I got the looking, you can. So if you look real close, I'm not sure how well my lighting is. Let's try it this way. The Smith & Wesson has a bar that runs from the front to back. This would be your sear technically. So a lot of the gritty feel comes from the rub of this bar on the sear and this little piece inside the rubbing on the bottom of that pin. So you fire around, you pull this back, the sear drops the pin goes down. When the slide comes back, there's a hump. That hump pushes this down, lets this go forward, and in order to reset your trigger, you have to let off, which then causes it to jump back. It's reset, you can pull again. Slide goes back, pushes that down, it resets. So in polishing the internals of a trigger or the trigger group, you really want to make metal on metal smooth. It's really gritty right now. So even if I put the Apex in, which should be here tomorrow, it's going to still be gritty and crunchy because that is not changed. The springs are changed, the trigger is changed. Can't wait to get rid of the horrid, I don't know what you call that, hinge trigger. But the grittiness, the crunch and grind of this rubbing this, I'm just not a fan of that. It's no good. In all honesty, while I'm at it, polish the safety pin. I don't know what you call these things, stopper. But I'll wait to do that until I might do it today. We'll see. So we're going to dismantle this. I'm not going to bore you with the videos of how to dismantle it. There's 1,000 on YouTube. Punch this pin out, punch the roll pin out, it comes apart. But I will show you what I plan on polishing, and my end result will be polished moving pieces. The tip of this, not removing material, polishing. There's a big difference in the two. I am in a hotel with limited tools, but in my toolbox in my truck I do have a Dremel kit with a polishing wheel. I will not be using the grinding, sanding, none of that. Polishing, and I don't know where they went. Clean it up with this. It's a type of polishing, kind of abrasive, almost like a Brillo pad. Then I have a softer one, and these are well worn out from, I don't know what I did with them. This is much softer. I'll probably try this one. It might be too aggressive, then step to this one. So we will give it a shot. And I'm not going to bore you, so I will come back with a cutscene when I take this thing apart. Okay, since you can't tell how long that took, I'll just let you know. For those of you that have never tried to knock the roll pin out of one of these guns, be in for a surprise. There is like absolutely no reason that roll pin should be that stuck in the gun. The trigger out, wasn't too bad, normal. Get the spring out of the groove. you're good to go. But the roll pin, that's just not right. I mean, you can see I boogered up the hole a little bit. I don't know if you can really see, but I had to literally beat the roll pin out with a punch. So once you get your roll pin out, good luck to you on that part. Any kind of little flat screwdriver or anything, I'm using the shotgun tool, but you can pry this piece out. There is no need to break down all of this, in all honesty. All you really need to do, and I'm hoping I can get in there without pushing another pin out, but if you have to, and I may have to push this pin out, but it's not going to be any fun, because then you got to get the sear spring back in, and the trigger kit is made not to change the sear spring. My theory is they just didn't want you to screw with it. So you have it apart. You have a couple pieces here. If you're changing out the trigger, which I will be doing, another pin to knock out, and I don't have a punch available small enough to do it. I would have to cut and run and get one. Doesn't really matter. I'll be changing the spring. What you need to polish is the top edge of this. I'm saying polish. I don't mean grind. I literally mean polish, because it rubs on the pin. Let me break this down. So you don't have to take all of this apart. If you're changing out the trigger, you do anyway. There's a little white piece of plastic. You push it forward, that comes right out. Firing pin, the plastic caps, that'll come apart for the rest. Oh yeah, you have to punch, and I don't have a punch that small on me, so I won't be pulling this out today. I'll polish that when I polish the rest. Don't think it'll drop. Let me see if I pull the... It might drop out if I pull the ejector to the side. No. So it's stuck under the ejector. Just to show you. Top edge. Something to point with. Leading edge will help with your reset across the top, down in this gap. So in here, across the top and down the face, polish this edge, and then on here we're going to polish this edge, and I'm going to try and do it by just taking the Dremel and a polishing wheel and some polishing compound and getting it in there without removing the plastic, which is why I'm going to try to do this all with polishing compound. These are too fat to fit, and I really don't want to rough up the plastic, so if I can get this gently in there, I'll polish it. I may end up having to take it out, and I don't want to take the sear out, but I might have to. So yeah, I'm probably going to have to, because you want to polish the bottom edge of this, because honestly, they rub like this. The two rub together. So see if I can get this where you can actually see. So they rub on each other. When it resets, it's up here. It pops back in there. So we're going to polish the front edge, the top, the bottom, the side, the bottom. That should fix this, the friction you feel. We can't do much about the long reset or the initial pull to the beginning of the first stage. Even the trigger, while the new trigger will be nice, it won't fix the actual shoddy trigger pull that is in this gun. It'll improve it. It won't fix it. Someone would have to remake this. If you could remake this with less of a gap, just enough that locked in there, scoot it back just a little, you could probably fix most of the trigger pull, because that's your initial slack in your trigger. Then when you push it it goes back. So if you could take that hole from there to there out, because if you'll notice, if you have a Glock, I'll show you on the Glock. When the Glock trigger needs to be reset, when it is in your fully fired position, it is all the way back. However, take it out here and make it. Okay. The Glock is in the extended position. So the Smith & Wesson, when it is in its already fired position, your trigger, instead of being like a Glock that is held to the back, it is, in all honesty, it is held to the front by a spring. So it automatically pushes itself forward because its reset is a different mechanism. It is made up of this piece. It is off here, but it is still held in the forward position based on the springs. So, short of changing a lot of stuff, the only thing you could really do is improve it slightly by tightening up that gap to take out some of the initial pull. If they scooted it or tightened that wedge up just a little, it would take out, say, that much play, whatever that would be. 32nd of an inch, 16th of an inch, not very much. So I'm going to start polishing with the Dremel, and we will see if I need to break out, take apart the sear. Okay, so I used the little Brillo pad. Just so you know, wear some safety glasses, because when the little Brillo pads start to get weak, they sling chunks of Brillo pad everywhere. I used it to remove the first layer. So just so you can, it did look like this. I didn't polish this because there's no need to. It doesn't rub on anything, it doesn't touch anything. So I used the Brillo pad to remove the initial roughness. And could I get this mirror-like? Yeah, but it's a $269 gun. It's never going to shoot all that great. I'm going for better than not horrible. And then I used the other Brillo pad, which, as you can see, I slap wore out. And I wore it out trying to get into this little flat inside here. This is most of your feel of your trigger, the crunchiness when you pull it. So I can rub it together with the sear and feel an enormous difference just solely in what I've done. And I polished the edge of the sear closest to that hook. So between these two, and I know it's kind of me being repetitive and pointing out the same things over and over, but that is, it pushes back. Do I need to polish back in here on the sear? No, not really. It pushes back. Only during reset does it even go a little bit over there. Is it low enough? Well, I could probably get down in here if I took the sear out. In all honesty, if you wanted a great polished piece that shined like a mirror, see, Glock, dirty as all get out. It shines. It's a mirror finish, in all honesty. It's nice, it's shiny. The top edge of that, shiny. It's polished. But it was a little easier to get to, too. And it's a much better shooting gun, in my opinion, no offense. But the weakest part, this thing's dirty, I didn't clean it before I worked on it. The weakest part of this whole Smith & Wesson SD9VE VE Value Edition. Would I buy it again? Yeah. It's my wife's gun. It's a nice gun, don't get me wrong. I mean, shit. Any gun that copies a Glock can't be too horribly, well, I guess they could. They could probably be horrible. I know the Sigma is supposed to be the copy, but you tell me. So, this just gives you the basics on what you would need to polish. If you're not in a hotel room and you have tools and you don't have a concern about like offending people with the sound of a Dremel, or you want to sit there with a block and really work on it, you can make it a mirror. I mean, it's all in the time you take. I'll probably, between today and tomorrow, I'll continue to work on it. But for now, this is just this is what I am doing. I need some more polishing compounds, and I need some more of those little plastic deals. But will it shine up? Oh yeah. And if it shines up, it sure as hell can't hurt. Just don't change your profiles. Okay, so curiosity got the best of me. Still safe. It's not even really put together quite right. I didn't did not put the roll pin back in because I do not feel like beating the damn thing back out. But I put the rest of it back together. The trigger pin is not fully set. Don't feel like screwing around with getting it back out. Right now I can just push it in, push it out, but it's all back together. And with the simple, decent polishing I did, you see that's the slack I was talking about. If they re-engineered it, they could take out that much slack. So, but huge trigger pull. I don't have a scale, and I'm not even going to try and weigh it because I might have decreased it ½ a pound. But I took the crunchy out of it. It is smooth. Just feeling from the non-cocked position, that's smooth. I mean, I'm actually surprised at how much my half-ass polishing, it's smooth. It was crunchy, but I mean smooth, like impressively, honestly. I mean, it's still a long pull and a long reset. Oh well, sorry. Long reset. There. Pull. But it's smooth. I mean, it's good. It's actually pretty nice. I'm impressed, to say the least, with how much it smoothed up the crunchy. It was crunchy, like an AK trigger. Polish an AK trigger and it doesn't feel like sandpaper anymore. And I do not like these little tabs. So it's not pinned, don't get me wrong, but just, it does rub. What I've noticed is actually this bar rubs on the side of the gun, on the plastic. So it might really be worth at least smoothing up and polishing the whole bar. But it's not crunchy. It was crunching. So this piece would crunch across the sear until it got to the front and engaged. They're smooth now. I mean, it's alright. Not bad. Pop it back apart. So, for those of you that never really don't feel like going, well, it's too late now. If you get to this stage, you already figured out how to get it apart. You have to screw around. You have to get the spring out of this groove. That is the whole trick in getting this pin out. I didn't seat the pin enough because I didn't feel like screwing around. But you need to pop the spring out of that groove, or you push this bar and you just end up jamming the spring into the trigger. And I mean, I guess brute force might, but if you can get the spring unseated, it's not bad. Then she just kind of comes apart. And if you don't have this pinned, it's not so bad. But put the Apex trigger in when it arrives today or tomorrow or the next day, and we'll see. But I don't think it'll be a bad shooting gun. Take it to the range, check it out. I'll finish this video after I get the trigger in. And my battery's dying anyway, so take it easy.